Welcome back to Athletic Everyday Day number 348. Really enjoyed the session today, actually. A combination of sprints, some bounds, and some rhythmic, or I guess you could say repeating or elastic, true plyometric hurdle jumps. I haven't done hurdle jumps before because I've never had access to hurdles. And I only just realized today that the store cupboard is actually access to anyone who's a member of the gym. So as long as the track's free and there's no athletics training requiring every single lane, generally I'm always going to have access to everything that's in the athletics club store cupboard. So that's things like hurdles, cones, sleds for weighted sprints or weighted pushes like parallel pushes. I'm pretty sure they have all of the equipment required for shot put, long jump, triple jump. Starting blocks as well could also be quite useful. So I'm going to see if I can start experimenting with doing maybe even some block starts, because I've never done block starts before. Crazy, I've done sprinting for, kind of, I guess you could say recreational sprinting for the athletic benefit for, borderline, what is this, 2 years now, year and a half, 2 years. But I've never actually done a block start, like a true block start. And I just find that quite funny. So yeah, having access to all those things is a blessing. Again, it's something I'm incredibly grateful for, and you can look forward to me starting to experiment with doing some more athletics/track style workouts where I'm actually doing something maybe a bit more organized rather than just coming in, doing my sprints, doing my jumps, doing my bounding, and then sort of winging it, maybe doing something a little bit more organized and planned. That being said, this session was, what was I doing? Fly sprints with an increasing distance. So I was gradually increasing the distance that I had as a run up and seeing how that would affect my time for the 10-meter fly. This was then followed up by a comparison distance where I'm comparing how well I can bound off of my left leg versus my right leg. So how far can I bound off of 5 bounds off my left leg versus 5 bounds off my right leg? See if there's any major imbalance there. From that cone draw, what I noticed was there really wasn't that much difference, and I guess that's pretty good. It means my legs are pretty evenly balanced, or maybe I just jumped better off of my right leg and worse off my left leg. I generally think my left leg is a bit more jumpy, elastic, I guess you could say, springy than my right leg for whatever reason. But I guess that doesn't necessarily show up with the results from these sessions, from this test even, sorry. The hurdle jumps, I noticed that you can change the height of the hurdles, which makes sense. You can adjust the height and you can also adjust the distance between them. So I was playing around with having higher hurdles, but also increasing the distance between them. And then towards the end of the hurdle hops, I was doing some lateral jumps, just to get a little bit of variety in there, not just jumping in that sagittal plane, having a little bit of frontal plane, so side to side movement. Jumping can also be beneficial for just improving movement literacy. I feel like I'm beating this phrase like a dead horse. Improving movement literacy, improving general ability to jump in a bunch of different ways, improving jumping capacity, as well as what I like about with hurdle jumps is it improves your kind of quickness off the ground, because if you don't jump straight away, then you're basically going to hit your legs into the hurdle. So you have to jump. You have to get up off the floor quite quickly. So there's quite a relatively short ground contact time when you're jumping in between hurdles and then trying to immediately jump straight into the next one. You can kind of do that sort of balancing hop where you'll sort of jump over, land, do a little bounce, and then bounce again. I suppose there's benefit to that, but I think that the best utilization of the stretch shortening cycle will come from landing, absorbing that force, having a shorter possible amortization phase as possible, and then going straight back into the next jump as possible, as quickly as possible. Shorter the ground contact time, obviously the more elastic the jump. The longer the ground contact time, the more time your muscles have to contract and put force into the ground. So generally you will jump higher off of a longer ground contact time when you're just doing jumps over a hurdle like that. But the benefit of elastic jumps, where you're spending less time on the floor, isn't that you're going to be trying to jump as high as you can on every single one. It's improving the efficiency of that stretch shortening cycle, improving the amount of energy that the tendon and the connective tissues, the fascia, the ligaments can store, and the muscles to a lesser extent, how much energy they can store and then immediately, or not immediately, but very quickly release back into the ground, thus improving your capacity to store and release energy of all of the connective tissue. So there's benefit to both, longer and shorter ground contact times. Then I moved into doing some front squats, and when I tried to re-rack the bar, because of these like weird weightlifting platforms, I kind of missed the rack and scared everyone around me in the gym by throwing, 50 kilos onto the floor. But I'm surprised that the other side of this bar didn't fall over like this. Thankfully, that guy was there to help me put the weights back on. Thank you to that guy. Shout out to that guy in the strappy top. Very grateful for you helping me on that. But went straight back into it on the next set, jumped back up to, 125 now. Today, it was heavy doubles in the front squat, which felt really good, actually. I think 130 was what I worked up to on my top set, which is more or less akin to what I was doing around about last year when I was finishing Clarence's weightlifting program. I worked up to a heavy single, like top like max in my front squat of 140. And yeah, 130 for a double is not a million miles away from that. And I think this is in large part due to just decent programming and doing front squats with a decent amount of frequency. And also doing cleans. Clean volume also counts as front squats as well. So what you're seeing here will be the last two sets. I feel like on the second rep, there's going to be some compensation. There's going to be a little bit of rounding, but considering that it's been a while since I've done heavy front squats, I'm really happy with this performance today. So this is the last set here, and I'm going to leave you on this one. Hope you guys enjoyed and got some value from the content. And as always, stay athletic.